Jaya Girivaradhare, Jaya Girivaradhare. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Jamuna Tira Vanachare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Water. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privrakacharya Asutasara Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privrakacharya Asutasara Srila Bhaktisanta Saraswati Maharaj ki jai. Anantagoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamuna Maya ki jai, Tulsi Maharani ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Praya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Shrimati Indrajuna Swami Tinamni. Namo Vishnu Praya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamni. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's session. Hopefully we'll be transported to the spiritual world by Srila Prabhupada's purport in this book. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we're reading from Krishna book, chapter 18, Killing the Demon, Palambasura. I think Balaram is very merciful to me, because the last time I read Killing of Dhenukasura, which was also killed by Lord Balaram. So this time as well I was awarded this chapter, Killing of Pralambasura, and he was also killed by Lord Balaram. So Krishna Balaram ki jai. So after extinguishing the devastating fire, Krishna, surrounded by his relatives, friends, cows, calves, and bulls, and glorified by his friends singing, again entered Vrindavan, which is always full of cows. While Krishna and Balaram were enjoying life in Vrindavan, in the midst of cowherd boys and girls, the season gradually changed to summer. Now we're actually experiencing summer in South Africa, getting there, so it's getting hotter day by day, and we can feel the effects of it, right? The summer season in India is not very much welcome because of the excessive heat. But in Vrindavan, everyone was pleased because summer there appeared just like spring. This was possible only because Lord Krishna and Balaram, who are the controllers even of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, were residing there. In Vrindavan, there are many falls which are always pouring water, and the sound is so sweet that it covers the sound of the crickets. And because water flows all over, the forest always looks very green and beautiful. So this is the forest of Vrindavan, and how beautiful it is with the waterfalls all around, and the sound of the water falling, it actually blocks the sound of the crickets making, their sound. The cricket actually makes a very shrilly sound, right? And it's very irritating. Sometimes at night when you sleep and the crickets, start their chorus, then you cannot actually fall off to sleep. So like this, the sound of the waterfalls is actually blocking the sound of the crickets. So let's carry on reading. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were never disturbed by the scorching heat of the sun or the high summer temperatures. The lakes of Vrindavan are surrounded by green grasses, and various kinds of lotus flowers bloom there, such as the Kalara, Kanja, and Utpala. So I don't know these types of lotus, but I get it's the blue lotus and the pink lotus, and we also get lotuses that have very sharp. I don't know if you saw this, especially the blue lotus. I saw this in Talavan. There's a lake there with lotuses, blue lotuses actually, and it has like a very pointed flower, the petal, yeah. So I get these are different types of lotuses. And the air blowing in Vrindavan carries the aromatic pollen of those lotus flowers. When the particles of water from the waves of the Yamuna, the lakes and waterfalls touch the bodies of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they automatically felt a cooling effect. Therefore, they were practically undisturbed by the summer season. Vrindavan is such a nice place. Flowers are always blooming, and there are even various kinds of decorated deer. Birds are chirping. Sorry. Birds are chirping, peacocks are crowing and dancing, and the bees are humming. The cuckoos, they sing nicely in 5 kinds of tunes. So we are getting the feel of Vrindavan, right? And in the Brahma Samhita also, we'll just read a verse describing Vrindavan. It's a spiritual world. And who knows the verse? It's describing Vrindavan in the Brahma Samhita. You may know the Sanskrit. If you know it, please recite with me. Chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa vriksha laksha vritesu surabhirabhipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra satasam brahmasevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Very beautiful. So we'll recite it again. Chintamani, louder. Chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa vriksha laksha vritesu surabhir abhipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra sat sambrahma sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So this is a description of Vrindavan from the Brahma Samhita. And we'll just read what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj has to say. His English is very high, but we'll try to explain. You know, we can understand something, right? So, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. So let's read the purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. By the word Chintamani is meant transcendental gems. Just as Maya builds this mundane universe with the 5 material elements, so the spiritual Chit potency has built the spiritual world of transcendental gems. So here what has been explained is that this material world is created by the 5 gross elements. Who knows what the 5 gross elements are? Mataji's? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? And yeah, so this is the 5 gross elements. But the spiritual world is actually built of transcendental gems. This is like jewels, you know, that we haven't actually seen jewels like this in this world. It's transcendental gems, transcendental jewels. You know, we can take the most expensive jewels in this world and, you know, try to imagine, right? Like diamonds and gold and lapis lazuli and rubies, emeralds, like that. So the whole spiritual world is made up of these things, right? And even the ground is made of touchstones. It is being described. That touchstone means that whatever you touch the stone to, it turns into gold. So you're walking like on a golden earth, basically. I don't know how to explain it, but land, you know, so yeah, so let's continue reading. The Chintamani, which serves as material in the building of the abode of the Supreme Lord of Goloka, it is a far rarer and more agreeable entity than a philosopher's stone. The purpose tree yielding only fruits of piety, wealth, fulfillment of desire and liberation. So the purpose tree is actually referring to the Kalpavriksha trees. The Kalpavriksha trees in the spiritual world will award you whatever you want, you know. You just go to any tree and you know, ask them for maybe your favorite food or, you know, whatever, you know. But this is to serve Krishna. You want something to serve Krishna, because nothing is for your own personal enjoyment in the spiritual world. Everything is meant to serve Krishna. So whatever you ask from the purpose trees, from the desire trees, they will fulfill your desire. So in this way, because like we are training in this material world to actually use everything in the service of Krishna, so similarly in the spiritual world, everything is being used for the service of Krishna. So wish-fulfilling trees, lucky we don't have wish-fulfilling trees here, right? Because the materialists will go and demand for so many things. And as it is, so many, and they will cause disaster, like they are basically doing at the moment. So, so this couple of vriksha trees, they will award you anything that you desire to serve Krishna with. Right? It's for Krishna's pleasure. The Kamadhenu cows yielding the fulfillment of desire give milk when they are milked, but the Kamadhenus of Goloka pour forth oceans of milk in the shape of fountains of love showering transcendental bliss that does away with the hunger and thirst of all pure devotees. So what it's saying is that in the spiritual world, there's no hunger and thirst, right? And the Kamadhenu cows, the Surabhi cows, actually, they're always giving milk, And in this way, they're fulfilling the desire. And, in the Brahma Samhita we read, there's an ocean of milk, right? On which the Lord lies. Right? And then we get the ocean of liquor. Imagine going to that place. It's in the material world, actually. This ocean of liquor. Ocean of fruit juices. You get an ocean of pomegranate juice. An ocean of guava juice. What's your favorite fruit? Mango juice. You get an ocean of mango juice. Yes. Your favorite fruits? Oh, cherry juice. So be swimming in an ocean of cherry juice. Like here, we have the ocean of salt water. So in different planets in the material world, higher planets basically, you get different types of oceans like this. Did you know that? Yeah. So let's continue reading. The words Laksha Sahasrasata signifies endless number. The word Sambrahma and Sadara indicates being saturated with love. Here Lakshmi denotes Gopi. Adi Purusha means he who is the primeval Lord. So Krishna is the only Purusha. He's the only enjoyer in the spiritual world. And all of us are basically meant to give Krishna pleasure. All the living entities are actually meant to render service unto Krishna. So we are Prakriti, in one sense, like female. And Krishna is the only male, he's the only Purusha. So in simplified terms, he's the only enjoyer, the supreme enjoyer. And we are Prakriti, we are meant to give Krishna enjoyment. So in this way, there's hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis, millions of Lakshmis serving Krishna like this. So that's the end of the purport. When we continue reading, and then we'll try to explain. Well, so the next paragraph, Krishna, the reservoir of pleasure, blowing his flute, accompanied by his elder brother Balaram and the other cowherd boys and the cows, entered the beautiful forest of Vrindavan to enjoy the atmosphere. They walked the midst of newly grown leaves of trees whose flower resembles peacock feathers. They were garlanded by those flowers and decorated with saffron chalk. Sometimes they were dancing and singing, and sometimes wrestling with one another. While Krishna danced, some of the cowherd boys sang, and others played on flutes. Some bugled on buffalo horns and clapped their hands, praising Krishna. "Dear brother, you are dancing very nicely. Actually, all these boys were demigods descended from the higher planets to assist Krishna in his pastimes." The demigods, garbed in the dress of the cowherd boys, were encouraging Krishna in his dancing, just as an artist encouraged another with praise. Up to that time, neither Balaram nor Krishna had undergone the hair-cutting ceremony. Therefore, their hair was clustered like crow's feathers. They were always playing hide and seek with their boyfriends, or jumping or fighting with them. Sometimes while the friends were chanting and dancing, Krishna would praise them. "My dear friends, you are dancing and singing very nicely." The boys played at catch ball with fruits such as bale and amalaka. They played blind man's bluff, challenging and touching one another. Sometimes they imitated the forest deer and various kinds of birds. They joked with one another by imitating croaking frogs, and they enjoyed swinging underneath the trees. Sometimes they would play amongst themselves like a king and his subjects. In this way, Balaram and Krishna, along with their friends, played all kinds of sports and enjoyed the soothing atmosphere of Vrindavan, full of rivers, lakes, rivulets, fine trees, and excellent gardens. Gardens filled with fruits and flowers. So can you imagine the scenery, with all these waterfalls and rivulets and lakes, and different kinds of trees, fruit trees. And in this way, they were playing and, like little children, jumping around, playing, catch the ball, passing to one another, passings like that. And they also played, do you know what games Krishna played? Krishna and Balaram with the cowherd boys? Huh? Guli Danda, yes, Guli Danda. You know what's Guli Danda? Never heard? It's a small sort of stick. It's made of a stick. Jai Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai. So, I know when I was young, my brother used to play Guli Danda. So it's like a small stick, stick, right? And you get another huge stick. And that's shaped like a golf, golf club like that. So, you hit this little stick, like a stumpy stick. You hit it, and like that. So this is the way the game goes. It's like it's like golf, or what's the other one? Hockey, yeah, like that, something like that. So, did you play that when you were small? Okay. I know my brother used to play that because he didn't have a hockey stick, so he used to use the stump of trees, and they used to play. Yeah, so it's called Guli Danda. So that's one of the games that Krishna and the cowherd boys used to play. And then also, as it is mentioned here, they would play like hide and seek, with each other. And sometimes they would blindfold. They would blindfold one person, and you go around looking for the other, just by their voices, and say, "I'm here." And the next one will say, "I'm here." So you go around. Your eyes are tied, but you go around looking for the person like that. So very, very interesting, and so this is the enjoyment of the spiritual world. In this material world, as we grow up into adults, there's so much of misery, right? You have to fend for your family. There's so many things that come on its way. But in the spiritual world, everything is enjoyment, so we must wish to go there. Therefore, this book is basically describing the spiritual world, so we must develop an interest to go there. So I'll just read. So it is being described over here that how Krishna looked. He was so beautiful. So there's another verse in the Brahma Samhita, which all of you know, because we sing it every morning, Venum Vanvantam Arabrindadalayaksham Barhavatam Shamasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Visesha Sobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Translation. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals and head bedecked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. Right? You can just take a darshan of Krishna now on the altar and see how beautiful he is. And as I'm reading this verse, it's describing Krishna there on the altar, right? So the matchless beauty of Krishna, the supreme Lord of Goloka, is being described. Krishna, the all-pervading cognition, has a spiritual form of his own. The form of Krishna is not a fanciful creation of imagination formed after visualizing beautiful things of this world. So here it is being described that this form of Krishna is so beautiful, and it is being described to us from scripture as Krishna is. It's not a fanciful creation of someone's mind, someone thinking, oh, Krishna may be like this and maybe like that. It's not speculation, but it's actually Krishna as Brahma saw him in his meditation. What Brahma saw in his ecstatic trance of pure devotion is being described. Krishna is engaged in playing upon his flute. The flute is his enchanting musical sound, attracts the hearts of the living beings. Just as a lotus petal produces a pleasant sight, so too the beautiful eyes of Krishna, who causes the manifestation of our spiritual vision, display the unlimited splendor of beauty of his moon-like face. The loveliness that adorns his head with peacock feather figures, the corresponding the feature of the spiritual beauty of Krishna. Just as a mass of blue clouds offers a specifically soothing, pleasant view, the complexion of Krishna is analogously tinged with a spiritual dark blue hue. The beauty and loveliness of Krishna is far more enchanting than that of Cupid multiplied a millionfold. So, Krishna's beauty is being described, and his beauty is being described as a bluish-black complexion, the hue of blue. Right, and in many of our temples, especially in Vrindavan, we have the blackish Krishna, black form of Krishna, bluish black, but right, so it's basically his form is made with black marble. But here in South Africa, we have white Krishna, because our deities were installed during apartheid. It's true, and that is why we had to have a white Krishna. And, I was explaining this to one of the guests that arrived from America, and I was explaining, and he asked me why, people are segregated. This is a predominantly Indian area. I said, yes, it was because apartheid, and that's how everyone was segregated. And I told him, and that is why we have a white Krishna, because in other temples we have black Krishna, and here we have a white Krishna. And he was taken aback, and he was so amused that he said, I have to go and tell this to my mother, because his mother is South African, and he was born in America. So, yeah. So anyway. Let's go back to reading our Krishna book. Once while the boys were engaged in their transcendental pastimes, a great demon of the name Pralambasura entered their company, desiring to kidnap both the brothers and Balaram and Krishna. Although Krishna was playing the part of a cowherd boy as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could understand everything, past, present, and future. So when Pralambasura entered their company, Krishna began to think how to kill the demon, but externally he received him as a friend. "Oh, my dear friend," he said, it is very good that you have come to take part in our pastimes." Krishna then called all his friends and ordered them, "Now we shall play in pairs. We shall challenge one another in pairs." With this proposal, all the boys assembled together. Some of them took the side of Krishna, and some of them took the side of Balaram, and they played. And they arranged to play in duel. The defeated members in duel fighting had to carry the victorious members on their back, as a horse carries its master. They began playing, and at the same time tended the cows as they proceeded through the Bandiravan forest. So yes, so little boys play like this. They go and sit on the, one acts as a horse and the other sits on the boy, and like they want to ride, So this is what's going on. They're playing this game. And then this demon Pralamba, he appeared. And so the game was that, they carry, whoever lost will actually carry the other on the shoulders. So Pralambasura took the side of Krishna, right? And Krishna's side lost. Okay, we'll read as we go on. Krishna's side lost. So Balaram had, so they had to carry, how did it work? Anyway, so, the party of Balaram, accompanied by Sridham and Vrishabha, came out victorious. And Krishna's party had to carry them on their back. So, so Balaram's party won, and Krishna's party had to carry them on the back. Carry them on the back through the Bandiravan forest. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, being defeated, had to carry Sridham on his back, and Bhadrasena carried Vrishabha. Imitating their play, Pralambasura, who appeared there as a cowherd boy, carried Balaram on his back. Pralambasura was the greatest of the demons and had to calculate that Krishna was the most powerful of cowherd boys. In order to avoid the company of Krishna, Pralambasura carried Balaram far away. The demon was undoubtedly very strong and powerful, but he was carrying Balaram, who is compared to a mountain. Therefore, he began to feel the burden, and thus he assumed his real form. So, Balaram, Bala means strength, right? And Balaram is, he has basically the most strength. Krishna is the source of everything. So, he's the source of Balaram. And they're basically non-different in one sense, right? Krishna and Balaram are non-different. But for pastime's sake, they assume two features like this. Krishna is blackish in complexion and Balaram is white. So here now we see that Pralambasura, he's carrying Lord Balaram, and on his back, and he's like running, and Balaram is like, getting heavier as he goes along. Let's just see. Because Pralambasura, he is assuming, when he takes him far away, he assumes this form of a demon. He's expanding himself. And Balaram can see that, this is what's going on. And then he becomes heavier and heavier, and then he just smashes him. So. When he appears in his real feature, okay, let's read this again. Pralambasura carried Balaram far away. The demon was undoubtedly very strong and powerful, but he was carrying Balaram, who is compared to a mountain. Therefore, he began to feel the burden, and thus he assumed his real form. When he appeared in his real feature, he was decorated with a golden helmet and earrings, and looked just like a cloud with lightning carrying the moon. Balaram observed the demon's body expanding up to the limits of the clouds, his eyes dazzling like blazing fire, and his mouth flashing with sharpened teeth. At first, Balaram was surprised at the demon's appearance, and he began to wonder, how is it that all of a sudden this carrier has changed in every way? But with a clear mind, he could quickly understand that he was being carried away from his friends by a demon who intended to kill him. Immediately he struck the head of the demon, with his strong fist, just as the king of the heavenly planets strikes the mountain with his thunderbolt. Stricken by the fist of Balaram, the demon fell down dead, just like a snake was being with a smashed head. The blood poured from his mouth. When the demon fell, he made a tremendous sound, and it sounded as if a great hill were falling upon, being struck by the thunderbolt of Indra. All the boys then rushed to the spot, astonished by the ghastly scene. They began to praise Balaram with the words, "Well done, well done." All of them then embraced Balaram with great affection, thinking that he had returned from death, and they offered their blessings and congratulations. All the demigods in the heavenly planets became very satisfied and showered flowers on the transcendental body of Balaram, and they also offered their blessings and congratulations for his having killed the great demon Pralambasura. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 18th chapter of Krishna killing the demon Pralambasura. So we see here how this whole pastime unfolded was that Krishna's team lost, so they had to carry the other team, on the back and like this. So Pralambasura, he had to carry Balaram, and he took Balaram far into the forest, away from his friends. And Balaram was like wondering, like, what's going on? My carrier is carrying me far off. There's something not right here, right? So, and then he started to expand himself so much so that Balaram was touching the clouds, because he was on the top. He was touching the clouds. And then he says, no, this cannot be one of the cowherd boys, right? Because they won't do this. And then he realized it was a demon, and he thumped him on the head. And then the demon came, smashed, falling down. He was, and he was dead. So like this, we have many demons in our heart also, right? And in the book, The Demons of Vrindavan, Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, he is describing, the different demons and their anarthas, and he says that the demon Pralambasura, he actually represents the lust in the heart, the lust for the opposite sex in the heart. And by listening to this pastime, that lust can be removed. So just by reading, that's why Prabhupada, he wanted us to read Krishna book every night before we go to bed, because then all these demons can come out of our hearts, right? And he also represents greed for money, like this. So, the demons of Vrindavan, all these demons that are described in the Krishna book, actually represents an anartha in our heart. So by reading Krishna book, we can get rid of these demons in the heart, right? So we have 15 minutes more. Would anyone like to say anything? 10 minutes actually. About the demons in our hearts. And that's actually, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gave us a very nice formula on how to remove the demons from our hearts. And that is by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, just by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, these demons can be removed from the heart. So, yeah, so we see like this. This material world is full of problems, but the spiritual world is full of enjoyment. So there's another verse I'll just recite to you from the Brahma Samhita, describing the material and spiritual worlds. Golokanamni nijadhamni chale tatasya devi maheshu haridhameshu teshu teshu te te prabha nichaya vihitaschayena govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. And it is being, this verse, I'll read the translation. Lowest of all is located Devi Dham, the mundane world. Next above is Mahesh Dham, the abode of Mahesh. Above Mahesh Dham is placed Hari Dham, the abode of Hari. And above them all is located Krishna's own realm named Goloka. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who is allotted their respective authorities to the rulers of those graded realms. So, first we have, as being described here, this Devi Dham, right? This Devi Dham is this material world, because material world is controlled by Durga Devi. She's Maya, right? And she's controlling all of us. You know, like you see the picture of the other cover of the Brahma Samhita, where, you know, like we are like puppets in her hands, like at the black cover of the Brahma Samhita. We are like puppets in her hands of Maya. So, and above that is Mahesh Dham, which is the abode of Lord Shiva. And above that is Hari Dham, the abode of the Vaikuntha planets. And above Vaikuntha is Krishna's Goloka Vrindavan. So we are desiring to go to the topmost planet, Goloka Vrindavan, right? And then we know below us are the hellish planets, and there's different hells for different living entities who perform different sinful activities. So we're not going to go there because we are speaking on the spiritual highest planet, the Goloka Vrindavan, right? And that's where we want to go. And it is being described that by this process of chanting Hare Krishna and following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then we don't go to the hellish planets. We don't even see Yamaraj in our dreams, right? It is being described in the Bhagavatam. So like this, we just need to concentrate on our chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, reading the scriptures, studying the scriptures, preaching, book distribution, Harinam, and like this. So we can make our place in the spiritual world. Just by performing our activities, we are actually creating our new body. Right? It's being described that by our activities we are creating our new body in this spiritual world. Like that. And if you're not following the process of Sanatana Dharma or Krishna consciousness, then you are actually degrading, you're also forming your new body in the hellish planets or in this material world. You come back as a dog, hog, tiger, lion, like this. So it depends on our activities. Huh? Yes, once Indra was cursed to be a hog, and and Brahma came to take him back to the spiritual world, to the heavenly planets, to assume his position in the heavenly planets as the king of heaven. He didn't want to go because he said, "I am enjoying in this body," because he's conditioned like that. So a hog is basically a pig, right? So he was cursed to become a pig. And he had his piglets, and he had his wife, pig, the sow. And in this way, he was basically enjoying life, wallowing in the mud, eating stool, right? And whatever he can get his mouth on, I won't say hands, whatever he could get his mouth in, this stool and this sewage, basically. So in this way, he was enjoying. And when Brahma came, he says, "No, what's going to happen to my family? my piglets, my wife. I can't leave. And then Brahma just killed him and took him back. He said, come on, don't waste your time here. So he took him back to the heavenly abode, and he was reinstated as the king of heaven. Because he was so similarly. When we go to the hellish planets, and whatever body we're meant to get, there is a certain hell that will actually be trained on how to be, a hog. There's a training session, so be trained on how to act like a hog. Because now as a human being, you don't want to touch stool, you don't want to like that. But there now they'll be given stool to eat, like enjoy, And then you'll be given the body of a hog. So, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Krishna book ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.